So today we are back to talk about 90 Day Fiancé The Last Resort. If you guys would like to check out my last video that I did recapping at least what happened leading up to their recommitment ceremonies, I will put that in the corner for you. But in this video we are going to be talking about the tell-all and the drama that ensued during this tell-all. But the only thing I would say is that in true 90 Day Fiancé fashion slash TLC fashion, they just had to drag out the drama. Like the previous season of The Last Resort, I don't even think had a tell-all. Like they didn't have any reunion. Correct me on that if I'm wrong, but this time around they were like, we're not only gonna have a tell-all. No, okay, that's not enough. We're gonna have like 4 or 5 parts. Like, let me be honest, 5 or 6 parts. Okay, because right now at the time of me recording this video, I just recently watched part 4 of the tell-all for this season of The Last Resort, and it looks as though they still have a lot more to talk about, because Gino and Jasmine, they still haven't got the chance to talk about all the drama in terms of Jasmine's pregnancy and whatnot. So they're gonna need a whole other part. And I'm like, y'all are getting ridiculous and out of hand with these tell-alls, to be honest, because why do we need 5 parts for a dang tell-all? There was definitely not enough drama this season to warrant 5 parts. Like, be for real. But anyways, I just decided to do the recap of what I've watched so far and what I think is gonna probably end up happening in part 5. I'm still gonna watch it, but I was like, I don't have time to be sitting around waiting to see how many parts they're gonna put out. Let's go couple by couple, as I have been doing, because that makes it so much easier for me to talk about and not get lost in the sauce. Okay, so first off, I do want to mention that everybody was on time, everybody was on the set. Then we see Jasmine kind of walk in pretty much late, okay, very much so pregnant, to make her grand entrance to basically shock everyone. Everyone was surprised and some people not so much, but we're just gonna start with Ari and Binny. So it seems like not much has really changed. They're still living separately as they were before The Last Resort, and they're now trying to figure out the best way to co-parent their son together. But it seems as though Binny might be the only one kind of dating right now. Ari, I'm not really sure what the heck she even said, to be honest. But yeah, I think she's obviously still trying to get over the divorce, but they're still legally married. And she kept throwing like little subtle jabs, or not so subtle, let's be honest, but very much so throwing jabs at Binny, basically saying things like, oh, I mean, it doesn't really change anything that we decided to get a divorce, because even before we decided to get a divorce, he was kind of doing his own thing and acting like he was single, so it kind of doesn't change anything. But what I found interesting is when they invited Ari's mom on, and you could see that Binny still has like a cool relationship with her, but she comes on and it's kind of exposed that Ari was keeping his social media passwords. Apparently, a lot of the people who would contact him through there would use it as a way to kind of blackmail him or extort him, get money out of him or other things. And that's when I guess Ari just decided to take the passwords away so that he didn't have access to it at all to respond to these people, I guess. But yeah, it was just kind of like, I mean, trying to tell me you can't reach a point as a grown man to not talk to these people and not respond. Like, it was kind of strange. But anyways, so that's all I have to really say on Ari and Binny. Obviously you could see that Ari is still very much so hurt about all the cheating, but Binny did, I think, end up apologizing, but I don't think Ari really was accepting of it. But regardless, let's move on to Brandon and Julia. So we see that things are still moving forward with Julia's parents coming over to the US, and Brandon, you know, he was like, you know, I'm kind of on board, but not really. But there was like other things going on with them as well, in terms of like the cheating and whatnot. Them still working through that. And then also with Julia, when it comes to Brandon's parents, like, she doesn't really have the best relationship with them, because she feels like they kind of overstep sometimes or whatnot. But yeah, I just can't remember what exactly happened with them, because like I said, there was just so many goddamn parts. So I just can't remember what the heck even happened, because it's been so long since I've seen the dang tell-all part where they actually spoke about their relationship and marriage woes. But I'm just gonna move on to Stacy and Florian. So in this situation, I kind of already said it in my previous video what my thoughts are about them. I just think that Florian is there to have a good time, okay, not for a long time, but just have a good time with Stacy's money, more than likely, because I don't really think Florian does all that much to really work, but you could correct me on that if I'm wrong. But it just seems like Florian's just kind of like a freeloader, and with Stacy, it seems like she's just kind of like fed up, but not fed up enough to leave yet, and I don't think she's ever really gonna get to that point. She keeps threatening that she will and that she would eventually just be done with it, but I don't think so. They also invited Stacy, obviously her twin sister Darcy, along with her husband, who I could never seem to remember the name of, but anyways, her husband came on with her, and he was basically saying to everyone else that he doesn't really think that there's an issue with Florian hanging out with Darcy, but he does think that when it comes to Florian's, I guess, overly flirtatious nature with other women, that's the issue. Like, that's the main problem, because he just in general doesn't think that Florian is a trustworthy person in terms of like him being marriage material for Stacy. And I have to agree. I mean, like, he's just gonna keep doing whatever he wants to do because Stacy just seems very accepting of whatever he wants to do. So it just kind of is what it is with that one. I found it funny that Florian found the whole, I guess, dancing with Binny during the show. He found that disrespectful. And Stacy was like, okay, so I'm going to do it again. And literally at the tell-all in front of everyone, Binny gets up and starts dancing with Stacy again. And I'm just like, wow. But yeah, it's just very interesting that he claims to be territorial of Stacy, but at the same time, he doesn't really act like he's in love with her. You know what I mean? Like, it's just kind of weird. Like, he's literally just there to be a boy toy, to do whatever, like, she wants to do, but he doesn't necessarily want to do anything romantic with her. I don't know. Like, obviously, like, when it comes to some men, they might be very stoic and very, like, not into all that, like, PDA stuff. But it just seems like Stacy is the one that's like really into the relationship. Whereas Florian, like I said already, is just there to have a good time. But let's move on to Rob and Sophie. So at the end of like the very last episode before we get to the tell-all, we see that Sophie just decided she wanted to call it quits on the relationship and marriage with Rob. And Rob didn't even really say anything. He just kind of walked off all upset. Sophie was crying too. But from what they said at the tell-all, it sounds like they're not done with each other, but they should be, but they're not. They're still very much so invested in each other. But Sophie was saying that she and Rob are still sleeping together. And I'm like, okay, y'all might just need to move to different states so that you aren't really in physical contact with each other. Like, you're not right down the street or around the corner, because I feel like that's just going to complicate things. Because obviously they don't live in the same house, because they haven't in a very, very long time. But regardless, I just think that they really should just call it quits. End this relationship, like, cold turkey. Don't talk to him no more. You don't talk to her no more. I feel like they keep saying they're done, but nothing is really done because they keep sleeping with each other. It seems as though that it's been a good while since they have, but regardless, it's like, come on. It's time to end this toxic cycle. And they also bring on Sophie's friend, the friend that she was staying with. And the friend was on board for them having therapy when they were at the resort in terms of the actual like show. She was all for it. But at the same time, she's tired of seeing, again, the same toxic cycle. It just seems like Sophie is very much so like, I don't know what to do. But it's like, sis, you know what you want to do. It's time to act on it. You know, clearly Rob is not the one for you. And you even said that at the recommitment ceremony. You said that he's not your top choice. He's not the person that you imagined, okay? And when it comes to Rob, I just feel like he needs to be let go to learn some things for himself and to not make the same mistakes over and over again. And also, it was alleged that he was talking to someone who was like eliciting services, I guess, quote unquote, for him to do something with another man. So they tried to make it seem like that was the reason that Sophie left, because she found this message. I'm just like, wait, what? Like, it was too much. I was like, just please end this relationship. It's okay. I honestly don't really believe that Rob was just out here cheating like every single day with his DMs. But at the same time, it's just like, Rob, just delete the DMs. Don't talk to these people at all. Don't respond. It's honestly that simple, but we're just gonna move on. So Natalie and Josh are also supposed to be done, but they're another couple that's still sleeping with each other even after they said that they were going to be breaking up and Josh left the resort. But they were still sleeping with each other, still having pity sex, as Natalie calls it. But regardless, you were still having sex with him, giving him the punana. But the thing is, I guess recently they decided to stop because Josh said that Natalie started talking crap about him and his ex-girlfriend, or the mother of his child. So I guess after that is when he kind of drew the line and was like, nah. But at the same time, I think more than likely after this tell-all that they more than likely were sleeping together again. Because this tell-all was probably filmed, what, like a year ago now, or almost like a good couple of months ago. So yeah, I believe that they more than likely are still dealing with each other, even though they both claim to be seeing someone new. Josh was actually seeing another cast member from 90 Day Fiancé, Elizabeth, who's with Andre, her sister. But I can't remember her name. But either way, her sister is now seeing Josh. Natalie is also saying that she's seeing someone as well, but she's not really saying that like this is a boyfriend or anything serious yet, but you know, they're having fun with each other, or she likes the compliments that he gives her, she says. But that's pretty much it with them. So when we get to Gino and Jasmine, our last couple, like I said, Jasmine was the only one that was late. She had to make a dramatic entrance to show everyone that she was pregnant. And then she sits down, and then immediately the conversation gets kind of interesting because obviously you can't not see a pregnant belly, okay? And it's not Gino's. So that's when things get heated between Jasmine and Rob, because I can't even remember who started it. But regardless, I remember that Rob was like, you know, you're a pregnant 304. And Jasmine, of course, you know, she starts getting super angry because it doesn't really take Jasmine much to get angry at all. But obviously being called that would make me very upset for sure. But in Jasmine's case, it is a little strange because it's like, obviously you cheated considering the ground rules were to protect yourself and you clearly didn't because you're pregnant. It was just really laughable how she was like, yeah, we were supposed to be protecting ourselves. Yeah. But, yeah, okay, Jasmine, you know, like, ma'am, clearly you didn't. She starts getting up. She's throwing her shoes at Rob. They have to take a break. I'm like, what is happening today? Gino's definitely enjoying people coming to his defense, okay? But at the same time, I do think that their relationship was dysfunctional to begin with. Before they even got married, I say this over and over again, there were so many red flags, honestly. And they still decided to get married anyway, but Gino not letting her just go is crazy to me. You know you don't want to sleep with her. You know that your intimacy is based on you having a good relationship. You can't just have makeup sex or hate sex or whatever the heck they were calling it. Like, you can't just be intimate with someone just because, okay? I think that's what a lot of people weren't understanding, but at the same time, it's just like, how could you be so like adamant about her staying in this committed relationship with you, no open marriage, but yet you won't be intimate with her? I just don't see that as fully fair. But regardless, she ended up talking him into getting into an open relationship, basically so that she could sleep with Matt, okay? That was pretty much it. Like, nobody else, just Matt. Like, obviously, I think it's better in the sense that you're not sleeping with too many different partners, but at the same time, girl, why were you not protecting yourself? Okay, so it just seems very strange. Like, Rob was right from the beginning. He's like, listen, she just wants to be with Matt. She doesn't actually want to be in any type of like open relationship with you, Gino, necessarily. Like, she just wants to have the opportunity to just be with him and not feel bad about it. Because there's just no way that you can tell me that you're still in love with your partner and think that it would just be okay to just have sex with someone in this open marriage with no type of protection, just get pregnant. It just strikes me like Rob was correct the entire time. All you wanted to do was be with Matt, and you just wanted permission to do it from Gino. Just overall, it was just a chaotic mess as per usual with Gino and Jasmine. But the fact that she's now brought a child into the situation, and I think they even in part 5, they showed a little snippet of it. They were like, yeah, we're bringing in Matt, so he kind of talks to Gino, and he does a good amount of talking. And it's just like, I mean, I don't really care at this point. Either way the deed is done, she has a baby in her belly. They're gonna have a kid together, so eventually Gino is just not gonna be in the picture because he doesn't have anything to do with that child. So yeah, it's just, I can't really say I'm shocked. Obviously, I've talked about this pregnancy a few times already in past videos because I just think it was just so crazy that they hadn't even finished the show yet and she's just pregnant. She just had the baby, I think, not too long ago officially. But yeah, I just think that's absolutely crazy. So I'm just curious to see how that's going to impact like her status in the US, like her papers and everything, because she wasn't even like married to Gino and in the States for that long. So I'm like, how does that work in terms of like, you know? But I don't know. Most of these couples, yeah, they should just end things, to be real. But you let me know what you guys thought about this season of The Last Resort and also the tell-all. Let me know down in the comments. I will catch you all in the next video.